How difficult is Lost Ark? You know what? Let's watch this video. How difficult is Lost Ark? We've played this game for like, what, 2 hours or so now? 3 hours, something like that? 3 hours, I'll say. Got a pretty fair, you know, grasp of the game, but let's look at this video here and see what this is all about, right? I have a pretty fair grasp of what's going on now, but let's see some actual, like, you know, in-game stuff here, guys, in this video, okay?
Encounters like in Lost Ark Korea currently. The fight we're looking at is the 5th gateway, the Legion Commander.
How much health is that? 1, 10, 100.000, 10.000, 100.000, 1 million, 10 millioner, 100 millioner, 1 billion, 10 billioner. So they have 10 billion health.
In our Albershot's raid. This weekly raid is split into 6 different boss encounters with checkpoints to stop and save the lockout after completing the 2nd and 4th boss encounters. You can reform and pick up where you left off with the same party members or switch it up with replacements if they're also at the same checkpoint. Loot's also received at each checkpoint in equal proportions, so if you complete phase 2, you'll earn 33% of the potential materials for crafting the new set. Phase 4 nets you 66% and phase 6 gets you 100%. Gateway 5 pits you against the Queen of Nightmares herself, Albershot. He has 23 billion HP in.
I don't know what he just said. He just said like a billion things. Dude, he literally just talked like what he said in 30 seconds. I don't know. That would take me 2 minutes to say. What? One thing I don't like though is like the constant changing of the bar, but I just what the okay.
This encounter evenly split into 200 individual lines of HP. This helps us more easily identify when certain gimmick mechanics will occur at. He has a total of 31 different patterns that can be used in any random order between major HP thresholds, but we'll just be covering the major gimmicks though to keep this video concise. At 180 lines of health.
Oh yeah guys, at 180 lines of health, this mechanic happens. Oh my god, what?
Health, the first major gimmick happens. All 8 players are given a black or white shape. There are 4 shapes, so 2 people will get the same shape, 1 in black and 1 in white. At periodic intervals, shapes will be summoned while you're DPSing Albershot that will float across the screen. You must collect a certain number of shapes depending on which shape you were assigned at the start of the mechanic. Circles have to collect 2, squares have to collect 4, hexagons 6, and star 8. If you collect the wrong color shape, it's considered -1. There will also be patterns that are needles that travel across the screen, homing in on a player for a few seconds before traveling in a straight line. That if you're hit by it, it's a 50% chance it's either a black or a white shape. So it can...
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. So I literally gotta like make a math equation while fighting a boss that has like a billion mechanics.
Help or set you back.
Guys, Onyxia has 2 mechanics, okay? There's avoid fire, and then there's move away from fire. I know that sounds like two the same mechanics, but they're actually different. Alright, listen.
The other mechanic are long line telegraphs across the entire map that if you're hit, do the same thing as a needle. There's 2 variations of that. One that also summons a needle, which travels in the same direction at a high speed. You have to lower Albershot to 140 lines of health while collecting the correct number of shapes for every player. It's common to have the correct number.
No, he's talking fast on purpose, dude. This is...
Stacks of your shape, only to get screwed over by the last summoning of shapes. Needles and line telegraphs and around 145 lines. If any of the 8 players has an incorrect number of stacks when entering the 140 line gimmick, it's a guaranteed raid wipe and you have to start over.
What? It's a... So I gotta do calculus while figuring out how many hexagons and how many shapes there is in my triangle, and then figure out if I'm a star or a hexagon, and then I gotta avoid the fire and the moving lines while picking up a bunch of stuff, and I'm... Oh my god, and if I do anything wrong, we're gonna wipe at 145 lines of HP. That sounds fine, you know, that's good. That's what I said though, guys. This game is like, I would assume end game is like crazy, like insane, right? Like
at 140 lines, Albershot either...
Duh, yeah. This game does look pretty good though.
Has a circle or a cross shape underneath her. This helps us determine where we need to stack with the other player to safely place a symbol on the ground for the next pattern. Before we stack, we have to dodge line laser telegraphs twice, with the second one giving us about a second afterwards to converge with the other player. If done successful, all 4 players will place a symbol in 4 sections of the map evenly spaced from each other.
Yeah.
Albershot proceeds to shift the map, and one of the 8 players has to guide a certain shaped meteor into the corresponding symbol placed in the previous mechanic. Failing to do that wipes the raid. While doing this, players have to dodge a lot of large AoE telegraphs, the red scary ones that are one-shots. The expanding black hole also has to be avoided, and if it touches another one of the symbols, then it wipes the raid, which is why they had to...
I don't even know what's going on. It feels like I'm watching a cutscene.
be placed equidistant apart from one another.
Dude, what is this, man? Holy cow!
Dento, stop fucking pause and complaining about having to do basic math. Seriously, I could sleep through this fucking fight and you're pausing every 2 seconds. Pain channel.
Oh my god, you're lying, bro. Jesus.
If everyone's successful at placing all 4 meteors, then you proceed to the next phase, which is a burn from 140 lines to 110 lines. At 110 lines, Albershot pours to the center and a short intermission plays. 2 large spheres are summoned into the map, and there's also glyphs on the ground which light up that tell us what to do in this mechanic. They indicate the order in which the 3 major targets have to be neutralized with fatigue damage from our spells. Being this out of order wipes the raid, and taking too long also wipes the raid. At the same time, illusions of Albershot can spawn in up to 6 positions, 3 above and 3 below. It's random. Every illusion that gets summoned has to be countered within a second of it appearing. Failing to do so silences the entire party, which screws up the neutralization, and also the illusion blows up and does like 50% of your health. If all the illusions are successfully countered and the 3 main targets are neutralized in the correct order, then you move on to the next phase.
What? Okay. So now the boss is a cube. All right. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Nice. Nice. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
The next phase, the 2 orbs that were just neutralized create portals that lead to a different cube mini-boss in a separate area. To pass the gimmick, one player has to collect 12 white orb buffs in the right portal, and then in the left side portal, 4 players have to collect 3 gold orbs each. The 12 white orb player is probably going to have to be a support because the white orbs inflict a DOT, a stacking damage over time debuff on you as you collect each orb. At least one player has to stay outside to deal with Albershot, or else she immediately casts a raid wipe if there's...
Dude, when I raid in TBC, people can't even click 1 orb or 1 cube in Magtheridon correctly. And like here you have to do a goddamn math equation while you're figuring out the circumference of the Earth and trying to see like what would happen if we were to do like a hypothetical like situation in the core universe together. You know, it's like what the hell, man?
There's no one in the area with her. Not collecting the right number of orbs also incurs a raid wipe in the next gimmick. And also the player that stays outside.
That's cool though. Don't get me wrong. It's crazy, but this is cool. Like it's cool, like that there's so much stuff about it, right? Like I think that's awesome.
So
this is cool.
The raid. During the battle with the cubes, there's also needles and line telegraphs.
the final in the final phase of the boss fight, an IRL Rubik's Cube pops out of your screen, and if you don't solve the Rubik's Cube in 1 minute, you wipe. That's how it goes, man.
Can reduce the number of orbs you've collected. Needles drop you to 0 stacks in the left one, and in the right side room, line telegraphs reduce the amount of stacks you've got by 1. Once the cubes are defeated, you gotta exit within like 2 or 3 seconds or else it kills you. After all players have exited, Albershot begins the next pattern, which reminds a lot of people of Frieza from Dragon Ball Z. She'll summon a huge ball of energy, and you have to break an HP shield on her. Afterwards, the lines of light protrudes from 8 different positions. You have to maneuver into the lines of light to avoid being silenced, as there's a neutralization check that has to be cleared. You also have to remember...
this fight is easy. Okay, this boss fight, this is easy now. I can do this.
Each of these lines of light are, because at the end of this pattern, after the neutralization check has been succeeded, 5 different safe spots emerge, only one of which is correct to stand in. The safe one is the one that if you remember where all the lines of light emerge from Albershot in the previous pattern, it'll form that shape.
Yeah,
if players successfully neutralize the boss, stand in the correct safe spot, and have the correct amount of orb buffs on 5 players, they'll survive the raid wipe that follows afterwards. After lowering the boss from 110 lines to 90 lines, players are once again assigned shapes from... Well, it's the same thing as the 180 line gimmick. You have to once again...
I forgot about that gimmick, I'm not gonna lie. I can't remember. Was that the one with the shapes? That was the one with the shapes, right? And you gotta pick up the balls. Yeah, okay, that's the shape one. Okay, that's good. Yeah. So maybe we should get to max level, guys, and do viewer raids. You know, we get to max level, and then we do viewer raids together. And we see how far we can go.
Collect the correct amount of shapes by the time you reach 50
I'll raid
lines,
lead,
while
guys.
also avoiding a lot more dangerous patterns that begin to emerge at around this point. At 50 lines, you have to once again converge with the other player that has the same shape as you to place the symbols on the ground, but instead of line telegraphs, everyone has to kite 4 meteor drops. You have about 1 second after the last meteor drop to stand within proximity of the corresponding shape to place the symbol.
Yeah,
Hopefully at this point, everyone has survived and was able to place their symbol to prevent the last 8-player gimmick. As after you successfully guide these meteors into the correct symbol, it's a burn of the last 50 lines to 0 HP against a torrent of even more deadly attacks. If you've managed to claim victory at this point though, pat yourself on the back, because that was the door phase and the easy part. And she takes the battle up in space, and the real battle against the real boss begins at that point.
What? What do you mean the real boss begins at that point? So that's like the intro. Hello? What? Yeah, that's phase 1, guys. So that was like that 6 minutes of him speaking like 180 words per minute was like phase 1. What? That is crazy though. Hello? This is the best video I've seen. Stoops. That is crazy. That's cool though. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a little bit flabbergasted here, a little bit, you know, confused. I'm not gonna lie, but damn. Damn. That is cool though. I'm gonna link the video in the chat, guys. If you guys want to give it a little watch, I'll subscribe to this guy. Why not? Okay. If you guys want to watch it, there is the video in the chat. Holy cow! And you only get 2 tries per week. Okay, fuck off. So I'm guessing you can't solo that. Yeah, I don't think you can do that unless you can, like, you know, multiply yourself and become, like, you know, ascended into like some sort of like god tier person. Damn. Well, the game does seem pretty cool. I do think, though, I would definitely think that this is, like, a very end-game focused game, right? Like, you could definitely tell, right? Like, it is very much about the end game. Like, the end game PvP, end game, like, PvE and stuff like that, but... I don't know, I kind of like it. Obviously, it's very, very vague, little understanding of the game I have right now, but I don't know. From what I've seen and stuff, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool game. You know, whenever it does release, I don't know, I'll probably give it a try. Why not, man? Yeah, I would say so.